Hello, my name is Corban Gilliland. I am a senior at Wylie High School. I'm 18 years old, and I've been doing theater for 13 years, and I play the lead in Wylie High School's one-act play.
I'm Jaclyn Rosbrugh. I'm a theater and debate teacher at Wylie High School, and I'm also the assistant director for the one-act play this year, and my son has autism.
I'm Eric Evans. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior at Wylie High School, and I've been doing theater for 3 years now. And I'm ensemble in Wylie's one-act play, and I have Asperger's.
For our one-act play this year, we are doing The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is about a 15-year-old boy who was born on the autism spectrum, and his story and how he solved the mystery of a dog being murdered on his street.
So today we're here to talk a little bit about the show and also to bring awareness since it is Autism Awareness Month.
There are so many different cases and perspectives of autism, and we'd like to just give a couple perspectives of our own.
I play Christopher Boone, who is the main character in Curious Incident, and on the autism spectrum, he is closest to Asperger's, which really means that he just has trouble communicating and relating emotionally and physically to his friends and family and the people around him. And he has sensory overload, which means that he can just get extremely overwhelmed by certain noises or touch, and that can lead to fits of large stress and emotions. Whenever I was developing Christopher, I really didn't want to just focus on him having autism. I wanted him to be so much more than that, so I added in more of his personality, that he's smart and witty and he's blunt, and he is very caring even though he has a hard time of showing it, and he's loyal to those around him. And I really feel like the autism part of it is really just more of a second layer that really just adds to his character and his personality and makes him the incredible person that he is.
My son Caden is 10 years old and he has Asperger's. He was diagnosed 2 years ago, but we actually saw signs of it as early as 1.5, 2, with his lack of talking and the way he would go around doing things, and he just had a really, really hard time conveying his anger and his emotions and all of his feelings. And he still does to this day. Some days are a lot easier, some days are a lot harder, and sometimes it's just 5 minutes out of a day they're just really, really rough on him. He has a hard time making friends or keeping friends because he can be a little bit different. He doesn't get sarcasm. He's not good at telling jokes, even though he thinks he is at times. And he's definitely not good at catching jokes. He is very concerned with one thing in particular at a time. It could be Pokemon for 1 month, and the next month it's Star Wars, and it just kind of rapidly changes throughout, but he's only infatuated with that one thing at a time. And it makes it difficult for others to try to play with him because he's so wrapped up in this and not just what they're wanting to do as well.
I was first diagnosed with autism when I was around 2.5 years old. I didn't want to talk to my parents, and I didn't want to talk with anyone else. I just wasn't interested in people. I was in my own little world, and I didn't want anyone else in it. My parents also noticed I tended to throw a lot of fits, but only in specific areas, such as when we go out to eat in restaurants or at Walmart especially. And so they took me in, and I was diagnosed with Asperger's. With autism, making social connections with people it's fairly difficult because I don't understand when I meet a person. I don't understand what they like, what they dislike. I don't like shaking hands, so I automatically come off as a rude person. I find it difficult reading people, so talking them eye to eye, it's difficult to really form a connection there until after a couple weeks or months I've really developed sort of an innate knowledge of this person and how should I talk to them, how shouldn't I talk to them, and really what to do around them. And that's made it really difficult to spread out into somewhere that I haven't been. I can't talk to anybody that I don't know because of this.
Because of the different perspectives and personal experience with the autism spectrum, it's really important to kind of dive in and show Christopher's story and get it out there. And what better way than live theater, as theater is supposed to imitate life.
And I think it is an incredible honor for all of us to be able to represent something like this, and I am so grateful to be able to share Christopher's story.
And this representation of autism, among representation of all other minorities, is so incredibly important, especially for me, since I have autism. Growing up, I I never saw anybody on TV with autism. I thought of myself as a freak, and so did all of my friends, or lack thereof. Nobody wanted to be my friend because nobody had seen anybody with this. And so for young me, like, this representation would have meant the world. And I want people growing up in this generation, the children with autism now, I want them to have the representation that I didn't.
I think the most impactful part of this show has just been the realness of it all for me, just learning about autism and opening my eyes to this issue, and I really hope the rawness of this show opens the audience's eyes as well.
The most important part of the show to me is the work that Christopher's parents are willing to put in for him to make that relationship work.
Christopher, do you understand? I love you.
I hope that this show is capable of, maybe parents will see it and they'll say, hey, maybe I can put in this work. Like, they can do it, why can't I? And so then they're willing to put in that work to make this relationship with their child, and that's what we need.
To me, two of the most impactful moments is one of Christopher's fits is very moving because it's very raw and it's very real. And when you see your own child go through a fit like that, it makes it a little bit difficult. And I'm glad that Corban's able to bring that character to life and show that. But the defining moment for me is at the end, he says, I can do these things. He lists off all the things that he's accomplished. And as a parent, in general, the one thing you want is for your child to succeed, but even more so when your child has something that makes them a little bit different and a little bit special. And with Caden being on the autism spectrum, the one thing that I want the most for my child is for him to be able to succeed and be happy in doing so.